おっぱいハンター
Do You Love Your Mom and her two-hit multi-target attacks is about a mother and son, Mamako and Masato, getting sucked into a computer game, MMORPG, after Masato fills out a survey of questions about his relationship with his mother. The purpose of the MMORPG is for mothers and children to strengthen their bond and to grow closer. Mamako and Masato go on a unique adventure helping mothers bond with their children. Along the way, they recruit other party members through helping them with their mommy issues.
ストーリー
In my opinion, the story is a very unique concept of not focusing on action since it's an isekai, but more focusing on the relationships between mother and children, which I can say I've never seen in an anime before. And although it's a unique concept, it doesn't hold well for the entire show. It kind of wears out its welcome and gets tiring pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a unique concept for a story, but I feel like the way the execution was done didn't lend itself well to it. I feel like it could have worked better as an adventure of the week, with each episode being like something different, more kind of slice of lifestyle, but there are 3-ish type of story arcs that they follow that take multiple episodes, and that is where the story really dragged, and it really felt like there was no urgency or like ultimate thing that we were working towards in this series, and that kind of drew away for me.
I agree. I like the concept. I was really excited to see how it's like, how it's executed. At first, it was very interesting because it didn't take long. It just went right in, new characters, stories, and all that. And then as soon as we got a Medi's storyline, it dragged. That was 4 episodes, and I got very bored. I was hoping it would also be like a slice of life, like learning about a bunch of different characters and their issues, or just something, just new issues or whatever. But it just dragged, and then there was no real complete end. It was just, I got really bored at the end. I won't lie, I was on my phone for the last episodes. I got pretty bored, but yeah.
ファンサービス
So this anime isn't technically considered an ecchi according to my anime list and Wikipedia, but there's definitely a good amount of fan service moments. But in general, it's nothing crazy. But despite that, this series is censored on Crunchyroll. I can put on the screen the example of what it actually looks like and what's censored. There is one moment that should have been censored, but there's censorship all over this series, even though the fan service really doesn't do anything absurd. And also, 90% of the fan service in the series is of the mom, so if you want anything of any other character, you're going to be disappointed, which I pretty much was, because the mom doesn't give off too much of that's weird, she's the mother vibes, because she looks young as hell, but it's just why just focus on her?
Yeah, I agree. It focused a lot on the mom, which I didn't mind because I liked her, but it would have been nice to focus on the other characters besides Porta because she's a child. It got kind of weird when it came to her and Masato. It just made me cringe. I'm usually okay with incest, but it just felt weird. I don't know. And yeah, it would have been nice to get more fan service with other characters. That's really all I gotta say.
As both of you have said, the fan service is heavily relied on Mamako, and it definitely feels like, oh, we're gonna push incest onto this anime when it really didn't need to, because you have 2 other girls, I'm not counting Porta, that you could have done the fan service with, but they were like, strictly we're gonna force this incest angle onto you, when honestly it didn't have to go there. It could have just done some slight fan service with the mom, but all of the explicit stuff is between Mamako and Masato, and it gets uncomfortable, of course. And the censoring is very inconsistent. They censored Mamako's thong, yet bare ass was fine. And light beams are the worst. And then when we did watch uncensored, the uncensored is also garbage. The boobs just look like globs and the nips are too detailed. So the fan service didn't really do it for me, honestly.
キャラクターズ
So I like Mamako as a character. She did get weirdly, I guess, dense a lot of times. Like some stuff is kind of unbelievable that like she didn't know about. It was just kind of weird, but I didn't mind it. I liked her a lot. Ma-kun, I have no thoughts about him. He's just kind of jealous a lot, and that's really it. Wise, I don't like Soon. So, yeah. Medi, she freaked me out. Every time she went in her, like, I don't know, her crazy mode, it freaked me out. I didn't like it. And Porta, just a baby. A good baby, who I wish I knew more about, which was sad. They barely went into any depth about her story. But yeah.
Overall, I would say 3 of the characters were good for me. I liked Mamako, Wise, and Medi because I thought they were the most fleshed out as characters. Definitely not the most fleshed out of characters in anime in general, but in the show, they definitely showed the most personality. But Masato is pretty bland as a protagonist. His only trait is typical teenage boy who likes girls, but mom is embarrassing. And then Porta is the first one that joins, but they really do nothing with her, and they avoid talking about her backstory, which kind of gets irritating because everyone else has a backstory, but she just doesn't, and the anime refuses to even give us any hints to her backstory. And it kind of just gets annoying. But I would say half the characters are good, half are bad. Take it as you will.
So my opinion kind of differs to the negative side, because I personally feel like all the characters except for Wise are pretty much bland, not really fleshed out characters. I feel like they are just surface level of their character types, like mom, lolly, protagonist, and just nothing else more than that. Because Wise is the tsundere character, but I felt a little bit more personality coming from her than, for example, Medi, which was kind of that quiet character. And even with her quirk of being like ultra competitive and crazy, if you will, even with that, she just didn't come off as interesting in any way. And I felt like that just was that you could say that about pretty much every character in the series. So the characters just didn't do it for me.
エンターテイメントバリュー
I would say for the most part, this anime was enjoyable, but during like the latter half of the season, especially when we got to the school arc and we met Medi, it definitely took a nosedive because that's when the episode started dragging. This anime would have definitely benefited if each quest took 2 episodes long instead of 4 or longer. It really suffered from dragging things out. I had a good time every now and then with this anime, but other times I was completely bored and just was hoping that it would just move on from what we were on, but it just kept stalling and stalling. And it's, if the anime is making you feel bored, it's like, why is it worth watching, you know?
Yeah, I generally agree. We mentioned it a few times in the other topics, but the beginning of the series, I genuinely liked it, but once we got past episode 4, that's when it started going downhill. Even when it went down, there were moments that I enjoyed, but like Joel said, it just continued to drag. It just kept going down and never really recovered. And during the last arc where we were going through the tower to deal with the girl trying to get rid of All Mother, spoilers, but whatever. Even like during that arc, I was legitimately on my phone ignoring what was happening on screen because I just couldn't be bothered with what was happening at that point.
Apparently, I'm the only one that watched the whole anime without my phone.
I thought it was pretty entertaining, especially at the start, since I was getting used to it. But as it went on, I think it got pretty repetitive with its humor. I was like, I mean, I've seen this before. Like, oh, Mamoko's wearing a revealing outfit. Oh, Mamoko's nude. Oh, Mamoko has a cool, like, ability now. It makes her OP. Like, it's just really repetitive, and I just got bored of it. So, yeah, it wasn't as good as it was at the start. I'll say that.
If I can add, there's also, it was very heavily implied that there's going to be a season 2 of this anime, and I don't know how likely that is going to happen. Because they did not tie up any loose ends, and they're like, alright, we're gonna move on, see you next season! And I don't know, we'll look out for that, but if the second season is the exact same way as the first season, nah, skip it.
ベストガール
Alright, so my best girl for the series was Medi in the beginning, and she's still the most attractive to me, the one that I wanted to be my waifu, but as I mentioned before, she really didn't feel like she had enough personality for me. Like, as I said before, the quirk of being insane, like that just didn't do much to help her in that situation either. If anything, that was a negative to drag her even further down. So if I had to pick a best girl, I think it would have to be Wise, just because she's a character.
My best girl is Mamako. At first it was Wise because I liked her appearance, but I don't like tsunderes, so it's Mamako. I find her entertaining. Her denseness can be funny sometimes. She's attractive. And everyone else is just kind of eh. So she's really the best I got. So yeah.
Going off of what Jason said, Wise was easily my best girl. From the start, I knew she was going to be my best girl. If you don't know, I'm a huge tsundere lover. Wise is the pure embodiment of a tsundere. Her cute tomato face can be seen many, many times throughout the show. She has a perfect voice to accompany her character, and I will definitely check out more of Sayumi Suzishiro's work because of how well Wise was portrayed. That voice, oh my gosh, I could hear it all day. It was so good, and perfect Tsun voice. And with Wise's design, I really liked it because it was really fiery and warm to fit her feisty Tsun persona. So if you like tsunderes, Wise is definitely up your alley. Or if you liked any personality at all in your character, Wise is also there.
ファイナルスコア
My final score for this is a 5. It's average. I liked it at the start. I've mentioned this a lot. I liked it at the start a lot, but it just dragged, got boring. I get disinterested fast, but this one really bored me. And the second season is questionable, so it did anger me a bit that there wasn't a big conclusive ending. So that also made my score lower than it could have been. I probably wouldn't watch it again, to be honest. It's just meh. It's alright.
I also give this anime a 5 out of 10. It's not amazing, but it's also not terrible. if you can look past the dragging pace of the episodes, I guess it's worth a watch. However, I'd classify this as, if I have nothing better to watch, I'll watch it. But it's definitely not really worth your time to put it at the top of your next anime list. It has a unique premise, but it doesn't save it from being middle of the road.
Yeah, I've pretty much made my grievances known throughout this entire review, that there's just not much that I got from this series. At the beginning of the series, like the first 4 episodes, I had it at about a 7, so I really liked it. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it was definitely enjoyable, but it just went down and could not get its footing back. So I also gave it a 5. So our final Oppai Hunters score is a 5 out of 10. It's not the worst thing, but I definitely wouldn't recommend you put this at the top of your watch list. And that's going to do it for our review of the mom isekai with the long title. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, let us know what you personally thought of this anime as well as this review in the comment section below. And if you liked the review, hit the like button for us and subscribe for more Oppai Hunters content.